All right, guys, what's going on? Hold on, mute this for a minute. There we go. All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chris's Sports Corner. Real quick, man. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday, man. Heading to the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday, so at a minimum we're gonna get my Friday dance. Hope everybody's doing good though, man. I gotta say that. First of all, let me say, um, this game here, the Toronto Raptors versus the Boston Celtics, is one that I was hoping the Raptors get from the simple standpoint of, it could have been one of those key wins that they needed, in my opinion. Even though they did get one against the Nets, you kind of wanted this one as well. Um, but I thought that it just when you look at it, they did the opposite of what they did the previous game, where the previous game they started good and they finished good. Well, this game they kind of started kind of slow a little bit, especially on the defensive end, and they came back. And they kind of they didn't close out properly. All right, so let's break this thing down, man. Siakam was 8 of 14, 23 points. Baines gave you 8, which is pretty good for Baines. Kyle Lowry gave you 24. He was 10 of 15, very efficient tonight. Norman Powell gave you, and he took around the right amount of shots I wanted him taking. He gave you 15 points. He wasn't a very efficient night, but for Norman Powell, I want his shooting numbers to stay up there. Steady Freddie gave you 2 of 9 for 5 points. You kind of want a little bit more than that, but he did give you the 11 assists and 2 steals. So he had a pretty all around game, man. But I kind of want his shooting numbers up there, especially in a game like I think with him he got to be able to look at the game and say, oh, what my team need from me right now. They in a game where the scoring is where the defense is just not being sufficient that day. You kind of want that you kind of want that ability to have him to say, all right, I need to score tonight. And Boucher gave you 12, 4 of 8. He's another person I want around 10, but it's only so many shots to go, and I get that. Ben Bray gave you 4 tonight. Johnson gave you 6. Watson gave you 6. Johnson gave you 9. Watson gave you 6. These are players that these are role players, but Boucher is a prominent part in the offense, and you kind of want him to have a certain amount of shots as well. Overall, I just thought that Toronto, Toronto, they only outscored Boston in that third quarter there. So when you're looking at the game, you kind of want to see them. You you're gonna have to diagnose the game a little bit. This is one thing I got for Nick Nurse is sometimes you gotta adjust. Like sometimes your defense just ain't there. Some nights you have those nights where your defense ain't there. And that point you want to tell your players, hey, tonight gonna be the night where you guys gotta score. You gotta score because the defensive not is not there, which is always gonna be occasion that is happens sometimes, man. I watched the Lakers game the other night, and their defense was atrocious, and so it happens. All right, so let's talk about the Celtics. Ojale, hope I'm saying his name right, gave you 24. That's a pretty good game for him. Tatum only gave you 17. And that's the thing. On a night where Tatum only give you 17, you gotta say you did a pretty good job on him, but you got to kind of bring that one home. Tice gave you 8. Walker to me is real hit and miss, man. Sometimes he have those games where he's just a world beater, and then he have some of those. Sometimes he have those games where you're like, yo, what are you doing? But he played well tonight, 21 points. Jaylen Brown only gave you 12. So you had a game where you held Jaylen Brown and Tatum in check, but you still gave up a certain amount of points to Walker. But when you're gonna have players that score, but you got to be able to match that. Thompson gave you 4. Williams gave you 4. Pritchard gave you 20 tonight. That's pretty big for him. 6 of 10. He gave you 6 threes. Like when someone's knocking down 6 3, they kind of got that hand. It's sort of like the other game I was watching. This kid Williams just had that hand. It happens like that sometimes. But it take nothing away. Boston consider themselves a top team in the division at the end of the division, and they're gonna play like that. So yeah, their season has not been going the way that they wanted to go, and that's for a lot of teams. So, but you got to understand that they look at the Raptors as one of those teams that they're always battling with. So it's a little extra on it. and you kind of want to see Toronto respond in a better way than how they respond tonight. But that's neither here nor there. Just the game we got. But in a night where you hold Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both under 20 points, you got to bring that one home. So even in this loss, of course, it gives Toronto some building blocks to say, hey, all right, boom, we did this. But overall, it's like I'm always gonna say I'm gonna keep beating the for lack of better terms, the dead horse with this one. Toronto is about up and down the court, 48 minutes of hustle, but see the thing is the Celtics are one of those teams that are kind of built that way too. They're definitely kind of built that way too, and they can get up and down the court and play and give you 48 minutes. That's why their matchup is such a good matchup, and I think it's gonna be a matchup, a pretty good matchup for a long time because of the style of play, their coaching. They're both very well coached teams. Again, Jason Tatum, under 20 points. Jaylen Brown under 20 points. You got to bring that one. Jaylen Brown only had 12. You got to bring that one home. But shout out to Kemba Walker. I think Kemba Walker kind of needed this bounce back type of game, because he's been, the verdict. Honestly, in my opinion, I could be by myself on this, but the verdict is still out on him. Sometimes even in the playoffs last year, you seen games when you was just like, they can't stop him. Then you seen games where it's like, are you there tonight? But overall, I think he's definitely a great player. I don't think they expected 24 from Ojale, but Ojale did his thing. That he did, when you got an opportunity, you take advantage of. You put your name on the board and make people, and that makes the teammates around you better. Again, it go back to like, for example, like my guy Steady Freddy. We all know he's one of my favorites, but I need more than 5 points from you tonight. 5 points is not going to be enough to beat this team, this Boston Celtics team. And to me, he got to go into the game knowing that only taking 9 shots, he's one of those that's definitely got to be in double figures. Siakam did give you 23. He gave you 8 of 14, very proficient, 2 of 4. He 50% from the 3-point line, so he gave you proficiency there. Kyle Lowry, he's been a subject of trade talks, but I thought he probably was your best player tonight. Even though he was only 1 for 4 from the 3, he probably was your best player tonight. From the simple fact that his shots was efficient. He got in. He put pressure on the defense. It's just you win some and you lose some. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics for stepping up, getting a victory, trying to build that momentum, especially as they started to get ready to go towards the second half of this season. And Toronto got to do the same thing. They got to build that momentum. They've been on a little streak here, so hopefully they can get back on it. I think they can. I think they're still pushing. I think they're still pushing in the right direction. And both of these teams, I think both of these teams gonna be in the playoff. I'm pretty much guaranteed both of them gonna be in the playoff. That's how confident I am. So with that being said, guys, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, man. You guys be good.